When you've come from the absolute bottom to the absolute top and you've done it all off of your own back and hard work and dedication and never missing a day, one, because of compounding interest, and two, if you don't try every day, you might miss your lucky day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day and you never don't try and you're always on time, was I late today? No, on time, and you try and improve every aspect of your life and you're a professional and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did. Oh, I did too. No, you didn't. That's a lie. Now you're lying to me and that annoys me. I believe that they have the lives they deserve because they haven't been prepared to suffer like I've suffered. If I was as lazy and incompetent as these people, I'd be like them. These people, they're not triers. I didn't even have chances that good. I wish I did. I wish I had a billionaire sitting on the internet explaining to me how the world worked. I would have done anything for that. But I've never had that chance. I had to work them all out myself, take huge monumental risks, do the nearly impossible to escape. It's easier to get rich now than it's ever been. This goes back into my mentality about the kind of person who takes risks and takes action. So then people will say to me, this is what's so amazing. People say to me, oh, how do you have all these big Addies? How do you have $100 million of cars? You're so lucky. It's not luck. It's never been luck. I've been the person who took action. And if I were to tell you right now what action to take, you won't do it. So I'm not going to feel sorry for you when you fail. I'm not going to feel sorry for losers.
My life is just work. But that's boring, right? But that's the truth about it. I'm on my laptop all day, every day. I have 18 hours a day of screen time. I'm either training or I'm working. Do I know some women? Yes, of course. Do I have some fancy cars to drive? Yes. Can I go to the odd restaurant? Yes. But the majority of the time, all I do is work because that's what I enjoy to do. I don't think most things outside of work are as entertaining as the work itself. That's why I'm successful. Yeah, I do have women who I know, and yeah, I can have that crazy lifestyle, and I did it for a while. But I wouldn't even say it's empty. You know, people get successful and they start to say, oh, I'm above that. It's empty. It's empty. It's vaporous. That's true. I just don't think it's as fun as working. I think just winning is fun. I think the whole point of life as a man is competition in the first place. Life is rented. I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm saying my philosophy is that you never own anything that you're not renting anyway. Your physical health is not something you have. It's something you rent. If you don't look after it, you lose it. Just like a house. If you don't pay the rent, you lose the house. It's the same with your business. If you don't look after your business, you lose the business. You lose your money. The same with women. If you don't look after the women, you lose the women. So do you have to sit there and attribute value to each thing and work out, is this worth the extra seconds in the day to maintain it? And if I'm going to do anything, you're going to optimize it, right? Isn't that life? You go to the fight gym and you spar and you lose and you get better. You attempt to optimize it. You try and make some money. You attempt to optimize it. You attempt to grow the number of followers you have on your YouTube channel. When you go out dating women, you attempt to optimize it to get better at it. If I'm going to speak to people, I'm going to optimize it to be maximally effective. I want to be the person who can say less words than everybody else and have a larger impact. That's what I want to do. I've chosen that. I've decided to do that. I understand that to be able to do that, I also need to have a certain persona and a certain capability. It's hard to do that if I'm not financially successful. It's hard to do that if I'm physically weak. If I walk into a room and I want to bellow and I want to sit and talk in a particular manner, but I'm physically weak and broke, nobody gives a shit. But I have real world accolades. Also, a lot of my real world accolades are based on the fact that I've suffered and I'm prepared to go through difficult scenarios for the things I've said, which once again adds credence to my words.
Does happiness exist to you?
I don't think it's important. I am already happy and I'm happy all the time. Even when bad things happen, I'm always a happy person. I don't operate in the happy, sad paradigm. So to me, I'm always happy because I don't measure it. If you don't measure something, it doesn't exist. If you give attention to depression, you're depressed. If you give attention to how happy you are, you're always going to be measuring if you're happy or not that day. If you don't think about those things, they don't exist. I don't give measurement to them. Is that the heartbreak part is the best part. Yeah. That's the real love. The whole holding hands, everything's happy, we're out at dinner, smiling, laughing. No, that's boring. The true memory of love, the actual real fun part of the love is the part where you feel the deepest, and you feel the deepest when it goes wrong. And we can apply that to everything. That's the funnest part of life. Funnest part of life. It's never fun at the time, but in retrospect, when you want to use hindsight and analyze your entire life via the lens of your mind, when you go back in time, those bad times are the best times. Yeah. Because I believe as a man, chasing happiness is probably the most asinine thing you can do. It's the easiest way to lose as a man is to chase happiness. What will make me happy is not how you win as a man. How you win as a man is, I don't care how I feel, what must be done. And really the only thing that's fun in life is work. The only thing that's fun is the thing that made you rich in the first place. That's the reason it made you rich, because you found it fun. There are no fun activities to do once you're rich. The only thing you can really do is slow things down. So a poor person has a 1 hour lunch. I'm allowed a 4 hour lunch. Great. You can add some time to things, but I don't know. I see there are some other rich people who, they get enamored by wine and they think that giving their life to tasting different grapes is somehow not a complete waste of consciousness, but they're dipshits. And that's why they're not important. And that's why no one knows who they are. So when I talk to other millionaires and like, oh yeah, I'm going to wine. I like to spend my time wine. Well, then you go do that. Life is it's a game. We're living in a simulation. And if you want a high score, you have to choose the highest difficulty. So I want a high score. A lot of these people, especially people who talk about Zen and Stoicism, etc., I distrust. And this isn't specifically about him. This is about all of these people, because they'll sit in a beautiful field with green grass in Bali, and they'll put on a stupid robe, and they'll sit there and they'll do this, and they'll say, I'm Zen. My mind is great. You're in a beautiful field in Bali. Of course you're Zen. What are you going to be upset about? It's sunny. It's not even raining. You have nothing to complain about. Go and be Zen in a trench in Ukraine. Then show me your Zen. If you're so Zen and you're so fantastic with your mind, any of these people, I openly challenge you, considering you're all physically incapable, go do an MMA fight and get the shit kicked out of you. Go on, you know you're going to lose because you're a pussy. I know you're going to lose. You know you're going to lose. He's going to hurt you, but you're Zen. Show me the power of your mind. Go get your ass whooped. Oh no, you're scared. You won't do that. You won't go get in the cage and get grounded and pounded. I thought you were Zen. Turns out you're only Zen when everything's fine. That's not Zen. It's not Zen to be Zen when everything's fine. So all these people with their spoiled little privileged lives and their yoga retreats. Oh, I feel so great in my yoga retreat. Oh, you feel so great in one of the most idyllic locations on the planet, eating food that's prepared for you. You feel great. Wow. Mental control. For the clown show. It's a clown show. If these people were truly who they wanted to pretend they are, they'd be in the trenches somewhere. The UFC fighter has more Zen when he's getting punched in the face in front of all these people, in front of his screaming wife, worried about him losing consciousness forever. When he's taking shots to the face and still avoiding them and keeping a clear enough mind to slip the punches. So all these people are full of shit, because if they were truly Zen, they'd live a life similar to mine. But they don't. I ain't lonely. I've never been lonely. I've never been lonely. You don't know me. I've never been lonely. I had no money and I was never lonely. And I don't think it's possible for anybody to stay in a scenario where they're truly uncomfortable. If you fall asleep on your arm and your arm really starts to hurt, even in the deepest sleep, you're going to wake up and move your arm. If you sit there and your life has been in a rut for 7 years, you are semi-comfortable in that rut. Sure, there's days you're pissed off. Sure, you're semi-annoyed by it. But there's also days where you just play video games, eat pizza, and you're kind of cool with it and it's no big deal. If you were truly unhappy and uncomfortable and discontent with your scenario, you wouldn't be in it. When I was broke, I couldn't sleep. Please understand me. When I was broke, I couldn't sleep. I'd be trying to go to bed thinking, these people have Ferraris. I want a Ferrari. I couldn't sleep. I just understood that there was a version of reality that I had yet to experience. I saw my parents struggle to pay the bills, and I saw my friends struggle to pay the bills, and I saw everyone around me unable to eat. And then I saw certain people with $500,000 cars, and I understood there must be a different version of reality. There must be a version of making money, a version of banking, of finance. There has to be a different world. This world I'm in, everyone's poor. This is garbage. That world, I can see people are living a reality that I can't even fathom. I'm under the mentality that you are exactly not where you deserve to be. That is one version of reality. That's one version of events. And although that's true, I want to put it in a different way. You're exactly where you wish to be in life. Even if you think you are not happy where you are, I can promise you are. Because if you're truly uncomfortable, you can't even sleep. If I put you on spikes, you can't lay down. You only lay down even if you're semi-comfortable. What I often hear from people and see from people is that they get very motivated for short periods of time. They'll be very motivated to change their life for 3 hours, and then they'll just go back to playing video games, and they're actually not unhappy with their life. They're fine to play video games and eat beans on toast and sit around in a small little apartment. They only become unhappy for a few hours now and again. That's when they talk about how motivated they are. That's when they talk about how hard they want to try. But in general, they're actually perfectly fine with their life, meaning they wish to be there. If they wished to be anywhere else, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. And by extension, they would be exactly where they wish to be. I want you to understand at home, whether you're successful or unsuccessful, you wish to be where you are. If you wished to be big, you'd be big. You would train all day, every day. There is no such thing as wanting to be big and wishing to be big truthfully and not being big. If you say to a man, do you want to be bigger? They'll all say yes. But do they really wish for it? Oh, you'll take it for free. Well, you'll take anything for free. You'll take a Toyota Corolla for free, but you won't buy one. Taking something for free is very different than going out there and earning it and paying for it. They're very different things. So you're as big as you wish to be. You're as rich as you wish to be. You live where you wish to live. Because truthfully, when you wish for something with all of your heart, never in history has the universe or God failed to give it to you. Anything you've ever truly wished for in your entire life, you have gotten 100% of the time. So then the logical extension of this mindset is you have to analyze and decide, one, why you wish to be where you currently are. Why? And two, if you want to change that, where you actually genuinely wish to be. Because you have to make sure you really want it. Everyone will say they want to have $100 million. Everyone will say it, but it's not true. And if you don't wish for it, you're never going to get it. And in fact, you won't even elevate from your current position unless you're more realistic with your wish and say, I don't want 100 million. I just want 1 million. That's my advice.
Your success in life is directly correlated to the amount of stress you can deal with. And this is true. It's kind of like air resistance. And when you look at cars or you look at jets or any of these things, how fast they can go is directly correlated to how much air is going to be pushing against them. No matter how successful you get, the more successful you become, the more the opposite force is going to push against you. And most people get to a certain level and go, okay, that opposite force is too much. But I just kept going and going and going and going and going. And now I'm up here at terminal velocity and the enemy force is coming at me. So, yeah, you're successful, but sure, it's very stressful.
I mean, if you have the mentality that you're born to suffer, I think you'll be pretty good at things. If you're born with the mentality that nobody should suffer, you're always going to be shit at things. I understand I was born to suffer. And truthfully, I mean, I'm very, very blessed with my life. A lot of people have said to me, you're under stress. Like, how do you deal with it? How do you smile? This is nothing compared to the suffering I could. Yeah. I mean, is it hard? Yeah, not really. I mean, I don't know. I was built to suffer. I wake up every day and go, what's on the menu? Let's go. And I'm so used to it. I'm kind of excited by it. The only period in my life where I could say where everything was genuinely perfect was about a month before I was arrested. And I've never been so anxious. I felt so anxious. I was in Dubai, all those videos from Dubai with the Bugatti and the big mansion and all the girls and everything. And me and Tristan were sitting around the pool. And I remember I've said this on every podcast. I'm going to say it again for the people at home in case their life's going good. If your life's going good, panic. I'm telling you, if your life's going well, worry. Because I was sitting there by the pool with the Bugatti and the McLaren and like 20 girls I'd never even met who were beautiful. And we're sitting by there and we got the big pool. We're in this huge mansion. Tristan goes, 6 years ago we were in Luton. We made it. And I was like, nah, we're fucked. Something's coming. He said, what do you mean? I was like, I'm 36. I could not have completed life this level. I could not be the most famous man on the planet. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Bugatti on the drive. Like, nah. There's no way I can get away with this for the next 50 years. Something's coming. A month later, there you go. That's just how it goes. So I feel comfortable with the suffering because I feel like I have a direction and an objective. When I have endless suffering, I'm like, okay, well, I know what I need to do now. I mean, what's more frustrating? A video game where you can't beat the final boss? Or when you play those games and you get lost and you can't find the next part and you're just going around in circles. I've been in this room, just going around and going around in circles. Those are the games that piss me off more than the game where I'm trying to beat the guy I can't beat. I'm happy fighting an enemy I might not be able to beat. I'm much more anxious when I'm lost. So I think when you accept that suffering is part of life, you get good at suffering and then you get good at things. If you're going to go through the world trying to make the world sufferless and yourself not have suffering, well, then you're going to suffer more than anything. How successful you are in life is directly correlated to your stress tolerance. In fact, it's more correlated to your stress tolerance than anything else. Forget IQ. Forget most nearly anything. If you're the guy who can deal with more stress than anyone else, you're going to end up in the position where you're dealing with more stress than anyone else. And those positions, one way or another, pay you. Because no one else will do it. I'm telling you, because that's the only way you can even separate yourself from the labor market in general, right? I can put myself in a position to do what others won't do. You got to put yourself in a very stressful place. And that's the same with everything. It's the same with every fighting champion. They take the shot. I want the belt now on 2 days notice. I'll take it. That's how I won my first world title, 2 days notice. So why do they become champion? Because they were the guy ready to fight for a championship without a training camp. They're that guy. So a lot of it is down to stress tolerance, but it is really interesting how these things apply to the individual and how these things apply to the macro.
And then I also said that men are judged on our competence. We're only judged and we're only cared about for what we can do.
Right.
Nobody gives a shit about our feelings. Nobody gives a shit about, there's none of this, oh, poor him. No one gives a fuck. If you're not useful to somebody or something, you can die in a ditch.
Yeah. Right.
Not only do women not care about you, society doesn't care about you, and other men don't care about you. We all want useful friends. Yeah, I don't want no useless next to me. I don't know you. You can't do that.
Those are the worst.
Those are the worst. I hate them too.
They're leeches.
They're leeches. I'm misunderstood when I say these points. They think I'm saying don't love your wife. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't protect your wife. I'm not saying don't respect your wife. I'm not saying don't have a relationship with your wife. I'm not saying don't love your wife. I'm not saying any of those things.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that you're the man of the house and that your power as a man is going to be amplified by the other men you know, and that you should be part of a clan or an army that makes you as powerful as possible. And that is man's business. And she is benefiting from all of that. She gets financial protection. She gets physical protection. Mm-hmm. She gets a whole bunch of benefits from you being a man with your guys doing your man things. Mm-hmm. She ain't in charge of you. It's not her business to tell you how the world works because she doesn't know. And it's not her business to tell you how to be a man either. It's her business, and be happy and be safe and be rich and make you smile. And that's her job, because our job as men is to suffer all the time and be basically miserable. Yeah. That's our job, and to get enough money so that we can make our kids and our women happy. You get to smile. You get to be happy. You get joy. You have that peace of mind because I gave it to you. Yeah. I gave it to you because you ain't got to work. You ain't got to do nothing. You don't know anything. You look at the clouds. You're happy. I'm glad for that. By extension, by logical extension, if you're the kind of person who's impressed by clouds, I would argue you're not allowed to have a differing point of view to mine because you don't know shit. You don't know anything. So when I do something or say something, even if you don't understand it fully, tough. Get over it or leave and find another famous billionaire.
Right.
Good luck. But that's just the bottom line of it.
If I'm having a hard day, I never sit and think I need to talk to this person. Even if I have like my brother and some people I'll talk to, I may be venting a little bit, but I'm certainly not looking for advice on what to do. I always make the call on what to do. I always already know what to do. I don't go to anyone for support. I don't turn to people for support. I don't turn to my woman for support. I think one of the main reasons I have such a fantastic relationship with females is because I never ask them for that shit. I really believe the reason I have the adoration of females is because they're with a man who they never have to babysit. They never have to motivate. They never have to convince to put the video games down. They never have to sit and say to him, oh, it's going to be okay. Like, I'm a rock. My life's great and it's on track with or without you. And I'm fine all the time. And when I have huge problems, because they do come up, I don't even mention it to my women. What I'm mentioning it to her to feel better. I mean, she can't fix my shit. So I wouldn't even, if let's say I lost $3 million in a day, which has happened before, I didn't even tell my girl. What am I looking for? Sympathy? Sympathy ain't gonna buy me money, ain't gonna put the money in the bank. So what the fuck? Like, I'm a solutions-based man. You tell me who I can talk to about getting my money back, and I'll talk. I didn't talk to my chick about it. She's, yeah, Bitcoin. Oh, I'll make you a coffee, dear. The thing can help me. So I don't turn to people for support or comfort. I don't. And I know that makes me extremely rare as an individual. And it's not something I'm not trying to brag or put on like a brave face and be a tough guy or something. It's just not how I'm conditioned. I believe that all of my problems are going to be fixed by me. That no one else is going to wake up and give a fuck about my problems the way I'm going to give a fuck. Nobody else is going to be prepared to go through what it takes to fix them but me. If I'm in the ring getting an ass kicking, not my coach, not my corner, not my fans, no one's going to get me out of there alive but me. It is me. So I turn to myself. If I have a problem, I'll sit in silence on my own. I'll turn to Andrew Tate and he'll get it done. Cause I don't, that's really how I am. Yeah. But me personally saying, I don't know what to do. It's never even entered my mind. I always know what to do.
That God is quite careful with what he gives and what he takes away. I like to believe that the moral arc of the universe bends towards balance. You know, that you get what you deserve and you don't get what you don't deserve. Call me sentimental, but it's a nice way to look at the world. The bad things that happen to you, you deserved them because you're fucked up. And the good things that happen to you, you deserve them too because you earned them, because you earned them, because you worked for them. Not because you bought a coin and waited, but because you actually worked them. And this is the problem with crypto as a whole. You people think, if I buy this coin and sit and do nothing, I'll be rich. But how does that fit in with God's karmic plans? Why would God give an easy way out to a dipshit like you when there's people who are working and struggling and dedicating themselves all day, every day? Don't they deserve a way out? They deserve a hard way out, let alone an easy way out. But no, he's not going to give a way out to the people who dedicate themselves. He's not going to give a way out to the hard workers. He's going to give a way out to you because you bought a coin and now you spend all day on Twitter. No, doesn't make sense. No way was God going to make a pencil-dipped, skinny-arm dweeb like you rich for holding magic internet money. Couldn't happen. Couldn't happen. You gotta dedicate yourself. You gotta struggle. You gotta go to war. Get a job and buy more. If you really believe Bitcoin's going to the moon, you should be panicked to work and buy as much as possible. But instead, you believe Bitcoin's going to the moon, so you want to read about it to give yourself hopium, imagining a future where you're rich with the tiny amount of Bitcoin you have because you don't want to work. This is a very clear distinction between a warrior who believes and goes to work to get more and a pussy who believes, so gives himself hopium and prays for a day where he can pay his bills. Do you understand? I have more of the coins that I don't even understand how they work than you do, and you probably read about it all day. And when it goes to zero, I don't give a fuck. I can buy more. You can't. What you need, sir, is a job. What you need, sir, for income is a job. God is never going to give you an easy way out. There's never going to be a time you send an email to a celebrity and say, $50,000 isn't even money to you and it would change my life. And the celebrity go, okay. Because I get those all day. That's never going to happen. You're never going to win the lottery. You're never going to hold a coin that just goes to the moon. None of it's ever going to happen. The only way out is shit. And you come out covered in bruises, scrapes, bumps, scars, you name it. You gotta fight through the brambles. The only way out is hard work. That's the only way out. You people deserve to be poor. Guys, karmic retribution. Hello. Full circle. God has you because you needed it. You deserved it. God is not going to let you get rich off Bartcoin. God won't. Forget the charts. Forget Solana. God won't. You can't escape the hard work. If you try to escape the hard work, you get crushed like a pancake. The only way out is hard work and dedication. I don't want to hear any more about holding your bags. That's not a job. Scrolling Twitter is not a job. Writing in a Telegram group is not a job. Writing on Discord is not a job. Reading about how the Swift system is going to be replaced by Ripple, coming all over yourself, dreaming of an imaginary world where your $400 has become $4 million is not a job. None of it's a job. A job is where you build something that matters. It's where you dedicate yourself to something that exists. Because no matter how much bag holding or Twitter scrolling you do, when the price of your coin goes down, you end up poor. Whereas if you had a job and you were actually working, you would have something built. Even half a house is still a house. So none of you have done any work in years. This crypto dump is God's karmic retribution. The people who have dedicated themselves to have cash flow, to be paid cash money every month, will now have money to buy the dip. And the people who were sitting on their bags are here to be replaced. You're going to lose. Even if the coins go back up, you're going to be replaced financially by the people who were working. Because it is hard work and dedication. That's the only way out.
Truthfully, there's no light without dark, and every positive has a disadvantage, and there's always good and bad to everything. But I feel like you are always at the same level of contentment. It's kind of like as a man, you're at a certain level of contentment with who you are. Some people are super depressed and some people are super happy, but I'm no more or less content than I was when I was a struggling fighter who couldn't pay the bills. But you're happy with who you are and you're doing your best and you have a certain mindset, a certain happiness level. And then you may transgress through the world of finance and global stardom, etc. But you get there and then you have all the disadvantages that come with that. And then you have the advantages also. I'm not complaining, more money, more problems, but at least you're rich. But then you're at the same level of contentment. I don't think you're any more or less content anywhere along the journey. I don't feel any different than 2019, if that makes sense. It's really interesting when I try and analyze my successes and how well I've done across the last few years. And I feel like it's pretty similar to air resistance. As a car is trying to go faster and faster, the wall of air it's competing against gets stronger and stronger. And I do believe like where you get to in your life is down to how aerodynamic you are as an individual. How much stress can you adopt?